So.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Lord of Hatred developer update stream. We've got a jam-packed show for you today, but the first thing you saw is a limited series collaboration between Jackson Guitars and Diablo. Jackson Guitars created a guitar to celebrate the launch of the Lord of Hatred expansion, and we've got one in the studio here with us today. This thing is absolutely badass, and that song you heard performed just now, it's called Celestia. It was written by senior composer Ted Reedy and performed by Cole Rowland. And if anyone can recognize where that video was shot, it's actually our original broadcasting room, so a fun little trivia for you. But yeah, this thing is magnificent. And that song, Celestia, is actually from our unreleased Lord of Hatred soundtrack, which you can pre-save on streaming platforms now. We have a jam-packed show for you today, but first things first, we have a Twitch Drops reminder. So you can watch for 30 minutes and get the Decaying Corona staff. And you can watch for 1 hour to get the Double Trouble Sword cosmetic on any eligible channel in the Diablo 4 category on Twitch. We've got an FAQ for you on the DevStream Announce blog, so you can go and check that out. And that runs until 11 a.m. tomorrow, PDT, so you got about an hour to get those Twitch drops. Okay. We did release the intro cinematic for the Lord of Hatred expansion. You know us, we're Blizzard, we love our cinematics, and this one does not disappoint. It really tees off the expansion and sets the tone for how this next chapter is going to go in Lord of Hatred. I do want to give a spoiler warning. There are some light spoilers in the cinematic, so steer clear if you want an unblemished experience, but I gotta say that cinematic is gonna give me some nightmares in the best kind of way, so go and enjoy. We've got a jam-packed stream for you today. There's everything you might want to know about the Lord of Hatred expansion that we're gonna get into. So we got a pretty lengthy video ready. I hope you get comfortable, get your snacks, get a drink, and enjoy.
Okay, Leute. Spoilerwarnung ab jetzt. Genau. Einmal bitte alle Mann F5 drücken. Einmal die Seite aktualisieren. Zwecks den Drop aktivieren. Also, ab jetzt absolute Spoilerwarnung. Wer nicht gespoilert werden will, der verlässt jetzt bitte den Stream, weil wir werden uns jetzt alles angucken, was sie jetzt hier abspielen werden. Also, wer das ab kann, schaut zu. Ansonsten jetzt bitte den Stream verlassen, wie lange das alles dauert, weil er sagte auch, in den ganzen Stream jetzt werden natürlich irgendwelche Spoiler mit drin sein. Deswegen, Leute, würde ich sagen, wir sehen uns morgen wieder oder sonst was für die, die jetzt gehen. Und ansonsten, Leute, schauen wir uns jetzt mal die ganze Gedönse hier mal an.
To the Diablo developer update. With Lord of Hatred nearly upon us, we're here today to share a slate of exciting new updates. Before we dive in, we want to take a moment to thank our community for every piece of feedback, every post, every guide and critique video, and every moment you've spent with us in Sanctuary. We wouldn't be here without you. Lord of Hatred was made for this community. Now, join us as we dive into the story, classes, core progression, and the key systems. Let's jump right in. Lord of Hatred continues after the events in Nahantu. As we see with Neyrelle, no mortal was meant to carry the burden of a prime evil, and doing so leaves permanent scars. Neyrelle's journey transformed her, from her beginnings as a seeker of knowledge, to bearing the Soul Stone, and now to this final confrontation with Mephisto. Neyrelle grew from someone who admired the Haradrim to one who embodied their ideals. Neyrelle's tireless research has borne fruit, and she takes action with the decisive, selfless conviction that defines any true Haradrim. Now, there's a question that generations of Haradrim have been pondering throughout their history. What is the point of killing a primeval if they always come back a generation later, after the last Haradrim have grown old, and there are none ready and able to take a stand against them? That dilemma, the cycle of the eternal conflict, sits at the heart of Neyrelle's research and pushes the story into its next phase. Knowing her time was running short, Neyrelle sent warnings to the few people she trusts, including Lorath Nar. As we march towards the reckoning, one thing becomes clear. Mephisto's plan is simple and terrifying. With the body of Akarat as a puppet, Mephisto has positioned himself and his pawns to be in the right place at the right time, and with the whole world watching. This sets the stage for our journey to the Skovos Isles, and our confrontation with Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred. And it's only the beginning.
With Lord of Hatred, 2 new classes join the fight, the Paladin and the Warlock. They're designed to be instantly recognizable in both fantasy and moment-to-moment gameplay. New tools, new strengths, and new ways to approach every activity across Sanctuary. Both classes have been built with today's meta in mind, bringing fresh answers to familiar challenges, new build paths to explore, and new roles to master across every system Diablo 4 has to offer.
The Talisman system is about giving you another way to express a build, giving you more room to specialize, items to hunt for, and more reasons to keep experimenting as you climb into the endgame. You'll see talismans built from a few key parts: your seal, your charms, and the combinations you create between them. The intent is simple: make the choices readable and make the results feel immediately different in combat. You'll find both seals and charms naturally as you play, across a range of rarities. Seals are the foundation. They unlock additional charm slots, roll bonus affixes, and in some cases they can even change the rules for what charms you're allowed to equip. At the top end, unique and set charms are the most powerful. These are the drops that you'll be chasing deep into the endgame.
Ich will ja nichts sagen, aber die Explosionen sind immer noch da, ne?
Unique charms pull signature powers from the unique items you know today, so that you can harness that effect without being locked.
Gotteshütterkrone. Okay. Wir haben die Gotteshütte. Also mit den Amuletten jetzt ist in dem Sinne der Ersatz für die Set-Teile, die kommen werden. Also in den Amuletten kannst du Set-Gegenstände reinpacken, dass du nachher eine bestimmte Boni hast. Das soll der Ausgleich sein für die Sets, die wir gerne alle hätten oder viele gerne hätten, aber ohne dass wir dann halt irgendwie auf eine Klamotte verzichten müssen an ja, Equipment, ne? Das ist ja geil. Dann können wir die Gotteshüter da mit reinpacken.
Into a specific gear slot. Set charms work a little differently. As you collect and equip more pieces from the same set, you'll unlock increasingly powerful set bonuses. Before Torment, set bonuses are more general, class agnostic, easy to understand, and meant to give you a serious boost while you're leveling. In Torment, sets become class specific, harder to find, and built to deliver a bold fantasy.
Also in der Levelphase sind die ganzen Scherben, sagen wir es mal so, eben eher dafür gedacht, damit ihr leveln könnt, Haltbarseite und sowas. Und ab Qual 1 sind die dann halt mehr so charakterspezifisch oder können dann charakterspezifischer
Unlocking new
sein.
archetypes and defining playstyles. The Herodric Cube is a legendary artifact for endgame crafting.
Unser
Combine
Würfel.
rare materials, transmute them into something greater, and unlock powerful bonuses to fine-tune.
Wir können mit dem Würfel alles ab der nächsten Season irgendwie herstellen, was wir gerne machen möchten. Zwecks Aufwerten, Umwandeln, AK D2-Style aus 3x1, AK D3-Style auch, also D2, D3, plus mit der Klamotte, die wir jetzt natürlich alles in D4 haben. Ne? Das heißt, allein mit den Dingen haben wir schon Jahre zu tun.
Your build. More than a tool, it opens new ways to upgrade gear, experiment with options, and push towards true endgame power.
Ja.
Herodric Cube crafting is deliberate and impactful. You can take an item, add affixes through transmutation, and then upgrade it through the rarity tiers, up to legendary. Want to turn a great drop into a best in slot? Transfiguration is the way to ultimately finish an item. Layering on a range of powerful effects with a chance you'll be able to transfigure the same piece multiple times. You'll also choose how you transfigure. Standard transfiguration is chaotic. The potential for reward is high, but there is some risk. There's
Also, dieses Transfigurieren da oder wie sich das nennt, damit ist im Prinzip auch die Heiligung gemeint. Das heißt, das Ding kann gut werden oder das Ding wird scheiße und danach kann man mit dem Ding nichts mehr machen. Bis dahin kann man wohl hin und her rumfummeln, wie man gerade Bock hat.
even a low chance that you'll be able to transfigure the same piece multiple times. Applying an entropic tuning prism makes your crafting outcome more stable. This will reduce the reward ceiling, but it always delivers a clean upgrade. perfect for items that are already incredible. For amulets, we have something special. The cube has an amulet-only transfiguration that can grant you a bonus legendary power, and you can re-roll it as long as you have the rare material to pay the cost. We love the variety and craziness.
Für die Amulette gibt es eine Besonderheit. Die können wir mit einem besonderen legendären Affix nochmal versehen und das können wir so oft umräumen, wie wir wollen. Was ist da los?
Of adding an extra legendary power onto high-end gear, legendaries, uniques, and even mythic items.
Scheiße!
So we've distilled that fantasy into a dedicated recipe you can use specifically on your amulet. Sometimes the best way forward is sacrifice. You'll now be able to break down an ancestral unique to create a unique charm.
Oh, fuck.
The latest skill tree
Oh,
updates
scheiße.
are here to give you clearer, meaningful choices as you build, so that experimenting feels rewarding and the path from idea to fully realized build.
Ich weiß. Ich will auch am liebsten alles anklicken. Scheiße. Das ist ja geil. Vor allen Dingen auch die Basis. Oh, fuck. Wie lange geht die Season?
Is easier to plan and more fun to iterate on. Itemization is the other half of the equation. With these system-wide updates, your item choices can meaningfully amplify a build, and they're designed to work in concert with everything else. Changes to legendary aspects, uniques, skill tree options, class mechanics, and more all support one goal, giving you the freedom to play your way. Let's look at a few examples. What is better than kicking your enemies away? How about kicking yourself to your enemies? Kick's Madness variant lets you fly around the battlefield by turning Kick into a mobility skill.
Kick your ass.
Barbarians now have a variety of ancient skill variants that summon a temporary ancient to mimic your attack. Leap into combat with 3 ancients, then finish them off with a trio of ruptures.
Cool.
Druids can now choose their skills' shapeshift forms, and each form comes with powerful bonuses. Human form grants more resources, werewolf form grants more offensive power, while werebear form improves your survivability. Trample's variant leaves sundered rock along your path and a large burst at your target. Trample can now be used as a werewolf, and rather than charging along the ground, you quickly leap to your target. Druids can now unleash the Fury of the Wilds. This unique ring causes your shape-shifting skills to grant berserking and ferocity, bringing these powerful mechanics from the barbarian and spiritborn to the druid.
Oh, Kacke.
You can take it a step further by synergizing Fury of the Wilds with the additional strikes upgrade for Lightning Storm, increasing the number of lightning strikes for each ferocity you have. Necromancers can now customize and upgrade their minions via the skill tree. Skeleton mages are now a core skill, costing essence to initially raise, but lasting indefinitely. Use the Singularity variant to instead focus all of your essence into a single, powerful, but short-lived mage. Skeleton warriors are passively raised from nearby corpses, and activating their ability commands them to instantly attack a targeted enemy. The Book of the Dead now also enhances your minions with the powers of Bone, Blood, or Darkness, allowing them to interact with a wider variety of legendary and unique effects, such as Aspect of the Void.
Scheiße.
With the Cathan's Righteous Will Talisman set bonus, your enemies will cower before you, immediately being feared for a short time when they see you. You also reflect stun and knockback effects at those foolish enough to try to control you. Paladins can unlock ultimate power with the Light's Epiphany Talisman set. Using the Arbiter of Light unleashes Heaven's Fury and Fortress and allows you to cast Zenith for a short time. Dance of Knives is now a core skill, costing energy per second to channel. If you aren't a fan of knives and want something with a bit more bang, try the Grenade Jumper variant to throw a constant stream of explosive grenades instead. Rogues also have new ways to manipulate the shadows. The Penetrating Shot variant Shadow Shot spawns shades to mimic your attack, and Shadow Clone's Sentry variant places stationary Shadow Clones to constantly fire upon your enemies.
Kacke.
As the masters of fire, cold, and lightning, the sorceress weaves these elements together in their new skill variants. Charged Bolt's Burn Through variant causes the bolts to release globs of fire on impact rather than piercing through enemies. This variant excels in up-close and personal combat against many tightly packed enemies. Familiar is the only skill in the game with 4 variants. The first 3 allow you to choose which element your familiar will always be and gain unique benefits. If you want all 3 elements, the Prismatic Familiar option is for you, causing each of your spellcasts to trigger an explosion of the matching
Geil.
element from your familiar. Crackling Earth converts Concussive Stomp to an Eagle skill, removing the gorilla-themed crowd control effect and instead dealing lightning damage and creating storm feathers for each enemy hit. This synergizes extremely well with Aspect of Falling Feathers to absolutely shred a group of enemies. With its new variant, the Protector guards the infected forest. The Centipede Spirit assists by poisoning the area around the Protector, weakening enemies and constantly spewing pestilent swarms. The Warlock arrives as a brand new class in Lord of Hatred. This master of the occult binds demons to their will and unleashes devastating hellfire across the battlefield. The Warlock has a dual resource system. Your basic skills, like Doom, generate Wrath. Your core skills, like Hellfracture, spend Wrath to unleash a powerful attack. Dominance is much slower to regenerate and is used for your greater demon summoning abilities, like Infernal Breath that spews fire at nearby enemies. To unleash ultimate destruction, channel the Armageddon Ritual variant of Apocalypse, calling down a relentless storm of fire and brimstone on the battlefield.
Endgame in Diablo 4 should feel continuous. No stopping, no waiting, no friction between what you want to do and how you want to do it. The fight to defend Sanctuary continues in our new endgame system, War Plans. Choose your favorite activities, chain them together, and then customize the hell out of them. You start at the command table in Themis, the capital city of Skovos. You pick your activities with almost everything on the menu. As you make progress, your command table levels up, opening up a wider range of options, including higher node rarities and deeper chains, with up to 5 activities in a single war plan.
Also, wenn ihr die Kriegspläne in dem Sinne abschließt oder sowas, bekommen wir Punkte, die wir dann hier in dem, ich sag mal, Talentbaum, was auch immer, dann einsetzen können. Wir können wohl nicht alles aktivieren, aber wir können uns dann hier separat was zusammenstellen, was dann für uns toll wäre.
War Plans also grant the ability to teleport directly to the next activity in your playlist, and eventually back to Themis to claim your rewards and create a new one. And if you don't have a Nightmare Sigil or a Compass, not a problem. War Plans can generate one on the fly if you don't have your own.
Und die Kriegspläne funktionieren auch ohne Zutaten. Das heißt, wenn wir da keine Segel haben, Albtraum, was weiß ich auch immer, ist egal. In den Kriegsplänen können wir die Dinger so laufen.
War Plans is all about giving you more choice. Want to burn through a stack of sigils? Do it. Want to hard focus on one lair boss for your session? Go for it. War Plans does more than enhance your endgame, it connects it. Completing War Plans will also feed into activity trees. Each activity has its own tree that you can invest in to customize how it plays. You earn 7 points per activity, so this is where you'll have to make real decisions. Let's look at the Lair Boss tree, because it's a great example of how deep this can go. You can tune your rewards with nodes like Lair of Runes for more rune drops, Lair of Plenty for an extra horde chest, Golden Horde to convert low-tier items into gold, or Exotic Armory if you're looking to gear an alt. Then there's cross-pollination, pulling Lair bosses into other activities to remix your runs. Grigwar's Gambit can spawn him from Helltide chests. Embers of Anguish brings Andariel into the pit. Out of the Cold allows the Beast in Ice to join every Nightmare Dungeon boss fight. The Pit tree gives you a completely different kind of control. You can dial up risk and reward with Choron's Haste, Heart of Stone, the Pit Butcher, or modifiers like Damned Thieves.
Ich werde so oft
Or
sterben,
you
ne?
can pivot the rewards entirely, converting glyph upgrades with nodes like Choron's Soul and Choron's Flesh. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are 100 different modifiers spread across the activities in the game. With war plans, you get to define your own endgame.
Wir können mit den Kriegsplänen, ach Gott, Vision. Wir können mit den Kriegsplänen auf jeden Fall auch gezielt noch ein paar Bosse mit spawnen lassen oder auch gezielt dann farmen, was wir irgendwie haben wollen oder was wir noch brauchen. Scheiße, Angeln.
Fishing is designed as a laid-back collection activity, a chance to slow down and unwind between battles. You'll unlock it early after arriving in Skovos. A short questline will introduce you to the basics, and it'll teach you more about the wide variety of fish with different rarities and multiple modifiers to chase. Fishing is more fun with friends. You can trade any fish you find, no matter how weird, bloody, or celestial they might be, to help your fellow wanderers finish their collections.
Die haben gesagt, Fischen ist sowas wie Freunde. Leute, dass in der Stadt rumstehen mit einem 500-Euro-Transmog, was man kaufen kann im Angebot, im Shop, ist nicht mehr in. Jetzt hängen wir mit den Jungs am See ab, wisst ihr?
As for where you can fish, almost anywhere there are fish, and maybe even a few places that might surprise you. So take a deep breath, enjoy the calm you've earned, and appreciate a quieter moment in Sanctuary. But who knows what else lurks beneath.
Er sagt, das Angeln soll zum Runterkommen sein. Wenn er ein bisschen zu wild wird in der Action, ne? Weil ihr das Spiel gestartet habt, könnt ihr erstmal direkt 2 Stunden angeln gehen, bevor das zu wild wird.
The Wine-Dark Sea. When Lord of Hatred is released, we'll also be making major updates across both seasonal and eternal realms. Permanent updates across realms will include the major skill tree improvements we've discussed, alongside a level cap increase to 70, extending torment tiers, a loot filter, map overlay, pathfinding, plus a pit overhaul and itemization updates. For players on the
Nicht so
seasonal realm,
viel.
there will be character resets, a refresh to season rank challenges with new rewards, and updates to the tower and leaderboard beta, all falling within the Season of Reckoning. This season brings 2 additional season ranks, unlocking over 100 season rank challenges for those who keep climbing through Sanctuary's trials. Push past your limits, conquer fresh objectives, and claim rewards worthy of your growing legend.
With this update, we're here to make more affixes matter and make item choices contribute meaningfully to your overall power. Common, magic, and rare items contain meaningful value in endgame because they can serve as crafting bases. You can later add affixes to them and upgrade their rarity using the Heraldric Cube. They will continue to drop in Torment difficulties, including as ancestral items, and they can also roll with greater affixes. With this update, auto-salvaging of lower rarity items in Torment has been disabled. Something we're excited about is
Genau,
damage.
wir brauchen nämlich auch keine Boss-Materialien mehr farmen in dem Sinne. Wir haben jetzt wieder Boss-Schlüssel, die wohl für jeden Boss zu machen.
Multipliers on gear. Gone are the days of tossing out items with additive damage. Damage multipliers stack additively with themselves, but are multiplicative, vastly leveling up the item game and depth when it comes to the perfect item. For uniques, we're opening things up by reducing the number of always fixed affixes and rolling more from the available pool, giving you
Lautzorn vorher, nachher? Okay. Anscheinend haben die mehrere Variationen obenrum dann. Max Leben live pro Hit. Okay.
room to chase truly optimized combinations for your build. Tempered affixes went through an overhaul. Unique and mythic items can now be tempered.
Wir können Uniques und mystische tempern? Was?
200 legendary aspects have been refreshed with design updates. Gems are getting a major upgrade. Weapon gem effects are significantly stronger, and we're including new gem tiers. We've heard your feedback on stackable items, and we've increased the stacking size to 1,000 to help with inventory management.
Okay, 1000er Stack.
On the quality of life side, one of the biggest additions is the loot filter. This is a power user feature the community has been asking for a long time. You can export and import filters, hide item text, hide ground effects, hide both, or recolor text to make the drops that matter instantly stand out. Hunting for the perfect 4 out of 4 base, you can call out the affixes you care about and set a minimum number required.
Wir können vom Lootfilter alles so weit einstellen, was dann nur wirklich fallen gelassen wird. Eigentlich fällt alles, aber das, was, was ihr sehen wollt, wird dann hervorgehoben. Zusätzlich gibt es noch einen 3-monatigen Excel-Kurs umsonst mit bei. Aber nur bei dem Vorbesteller, ne?
So those upgrade-ready items popped while the noise fades away. Loot filters will also support newly introduced systems such as the Talisman. The map overlay is here, and it completely changes how combat and moment-to-moment flow feels in Diablo 4. When the overlay is up, the minimap gets out of the way to broaden your view of the game space.
Alles
You've
klar.
got quick controls to tune it on the fly. Keybinds for opacity, keybinds for zoom,
Nicht mehr in der Ecke
and
gucken.
options to
Geil.
adjust the coloration of the overlay to match your preference. For those looking to continue with a smooth flow, you can enable pathfinding, which draws your route through Sanctuary directly to your destination. You'll no longer need to stare at your minimap to make sure you're headed the right way. The level cap has increased, expanding the ceiling for long-term progression. Torment tiers are being refined as well to support a consistent feel as you progress further, and to match, the rewards track better with the risk you're taking.
We've made important improvements to layer bosses, focused on clarity, choice, and cleaner loot chasing. Every layer boss now has its own dedicated pool of unique items. Layer bosses now share a single key, and all greater layer bosses share another, reducing friction and inventory space. Bartok and Astaroth are now in the layer boss system,
Ach,
and the Butcher is now a greater layer boss in both Seasonal and Eternal Realms. Lord Zir is now only one click away on the world map.
okay, sie brauchen wir nur noch einmal ansehen.
We've made updates to runes to reduce friction and make progression smoother. The result is a more streamlined system and an indirect buff to farming the specific runes you care about. The rune pool has been updated and we've removed underutilized runes. All remaining runes now fit cleanly into the Socketable's inventory. Runes have also been heavily integrated into our Heraldric Cube crafting system.
Pit improvements are here, along with tuning and quality of life updates to make each run more exciting and more rewarding. Some of the improvements you've seen in the tower are coming to the pit, and we've also removed a few legacy systems along the way. The pit has grown, literally. Every run now spans 5 full floors, clearly marked by pit depth, so you always know how deep you've gone and how close you are to the finish. Floor generation has been rebuilt from the ground up for smoother flow, less frustrating dead ends, and a more consistent rhythm that keeps you moving forward.
Angeblich haben sie die Sackgassen ein bisschen verkürzt.
Nearly every environment in the game can now appear in the pit, pulling from both expansions and past seasons. And there are rare floors where you'll stumble onto brand new layout mashups found nowhere else. To keep the focus on action, we've also removed death and resurrection penalties along with boss shadow attacks. Spawning in the pit has been tuned to feel fair, deadly, and exciting. Shrines now use a flat spawn chance, giving each run a more consistent baseline, while still allowing for the occasional lucky spike. Almost every variant of every monster family can now appear, including very rare and special populations. Progress now scales with real danger, meaning tougher enemies push the bar faster. And yes, treasure goblins can now invade the pit, alone or with all their friends, with bosses, goblins, and treasure chests all capable of dropping loot. Pit mastery objectives are now fully formalized, with the tracker clearly showing both party and personal progress. Boss encounters waste no time. Bosses now ambush your party by spawning directly on top of you, and without clearing existing enemies. On top of that, the pit will now pull from the tower boss roster, injecting even more variety and unpredictability into every run. Since we introduced the tower and leaderboards, it's been incredible to listen to your feedback. watch the competition evolve, and keep learning right alongside the community. Now we're bringing a focused set of updates, more reasons to climb, clearer ways to compete, and smoother moment-to-moment play. The Artificer's Stash is a new feature coming to the tower. This provides valuable caches that contain items with guaranteed greater affixes, along with currencies and even lore books. These treasures can only be earned by climbing the tower, and first-time completion of higher tower tiers awards the Artificer's favor.
Also am Tower kriegen wir dann jetzt auch Belohnung, wenn ihr da drin rumbrennt.
The new build viewer captures a snapshot of every build that ranks on the leaderboard. When you click a top player's leaderboard entry, the viewer displays that saved snapshot, making it easier
Okay. Okay, da kann man auf jeden Fall dann ganz genau sehen, wie er eingestellt war oder wer wie was.
for
Cool.
everyone to see which builds are performing best in tower competition. New environments, monsters, and bosses are arriving to keep the tower experience fresh. In addition to starting a tower run when you exit the circle, your run will now automatically begin after a brief countdown. And hey, did you mess up the run? Did you just barely make it? Did the Orb Goblin run away? Is that the best you got? The Artificer himself will now offer some commentary. Please try your best. He is watching. Lastly, we're making tower competition timing better and fairer. Based on player feedback, leaderboards now start on Thursdays after a release or patch. This permits the time needed.
Seht ihr das hier unten? Oh, fuck. Der macht Kälte.
To address any major issues before the community-wide competitive aspect of the tower begins. That's a quick look at what's ahead with Lord of Hatred and Season of Reckoning. We'll have more details in our blogs, patch notes, and deep dives. So if something here caught your eye, you'll be able to dig in right away. See you all in Sanctuary. Welcome.
Whew. Okay, that is a lot to chew on. As Zavin mentioned at the end of that video, we will have
Chat, wie ist euer erster Eindruck? Scheiße, wa? Dreckspiel. Ich finde, direkt deinstallieren, weg damit. Das war jetzt ganz schön viel schon mal auf einmal. Also, Items wurden überarbeitet, Uniques können wir härten. Wir können uns Affixe nochmal zusätzlich auf dem Ammo nochmal draufkloppen, also legendäre. Fertigkeitsbaum ist ganz toll, ganz groß. Oh Mann. Gott.
have our official blog launching after the stream, so you can go and check that out if there's extra details you want to chew on. But additionally, we will have Q&A towards the end of the stream, so if you have any questions that weren't answered in that overview video, feel free to drop them in chat. We'll grab those and answer those close to the end of the stream. But who better to get into everything with me than a very familiar cast of crew? We've got Colin, Zavin, and Art back on the stream. Welcome, fellas.
Hey.
Yeah, great to be back.
Echt
Great to have you
unangenehm.
guys here. So I know we did go through, everything coming with Lord of Hatred in that overview. We do also have Season of Reckoning launching at the same time.
Wir brauchen keine Boss-Schlüssel mehr farmen, in dem Sinne jetzt so Stahl und hier und da, um die Bosse zu kloppen. Wir müssen jetzt nur noch Boss-Schlüssel suchen. Das hatten wir schon mal gehabt. Es reicht ein Schlüssel, aber auch die Schlüssel müssen wir farmen. Die sollen aber auch überall irgendwo dann zu fallen sein, weißt du? Und man braucht nur noch einen Schlüssel pro Boss, also egal welcher. Bartok und Esrat, wie ich da mitgekriegt habe, sind jetzt auch Oberbosse und der Dicke ist jetzt als Oberboss auch mit drin. Weil wir auch wieder normale Bosse haben und also wir haben die kleinen Oberbosse und die großen Oberbosse, also die großen Übel. Die sind ja jetzt mit drin. Das hier können wir direkt anfummeln, brauchen wir nicht mehr da doppelklicken. Vom Schlachtplan her können wir auch direkt von einem Dungeon in dem anderen oder zur Aktivität. Wir können zurückporten in eine Stadt, direkt Loot, bla, Tü. Turm kriegen wir Loot. Da haben sie auch einiges überarbeitet. Allgemein haben sie überarbeitet, dass manche Effekte nicht mehr so sind wie vorher. Die Runen, sie wurden auch wohl abgespeckt, sodass alle Runen ins Inventar reinpassen und nicht einmal eine ganze Kiste voll sein sollen. Ja, Items rumfummeln hier und da und für viele der Gamechanger die Map natürlich die Minimap. Wir können sie jetzt wegmachen. Wir können jetzt eine allgemeine, transparente Map machen. Von der Stärke her, also ein D2-Style. Ne? Ja, ich habe mich jetzt gerade schon 15 Mal sterben sehen. Warum sind wir überhaupt so oft gestorben da? Für Spieler. Ruhe da.
Time as the expansion. And I know this is going to be a little bit different of a season because it is coming out in tandem with the expansion. What can players kind of expect to see for Season of Reckoning?
Yeah, so kind of as we covered, there's a huge slew of automation updates. Skill trees have been revamped for every single class. There's just a ton there. In addition to that, season rank has actually expanded. There's more of it. It's over 100 different objectives to conquer, and eventually Tower will be turning on, as we said. But yeah, this will be kind of a special season to keep focus on the expansion. And the idea is future seasons will return more to the regular stuff that we're used to.
And you'll still be able to play the campaign and all that good stuff, both in Seasons and Eternal, whatever tickles your fancy.
Mm-hmm. And I love, too, for Season of Reckoning, because so much of it relies on seasonal rank, there's so much that you get to passively do just as you're playing the game, right? So it's not as though you have to, it silos you to a totally different content piece. You get to chip away on it just as you're playing through the expansion and everything else. So
yeah. There's also a lot of goodies packed in there.
A ton. Yeah, a lot of rewards spread throughout.
Yeah, gotta love some rewards. But of course, I do really want to know from you guys, with the expansion coming out soon, with so much launching, what are you all most excited for players to get their hands on for the Lord of Hatred expansion?
Yeah, I would say something that exists in the game. I would say probably the skill trees. I think, we've talked to death about it, but really it's hard to sort of understate or overstate, I should say, how transformative it is to actually play with it. Like, it's actually hard for us to play on live right now just because there's so many more builds. Art mentioned in the video that we touched like over 200 aspects. We've also added just a ridiculous amount of uniques to the game. We've ensured that like literally every skill in the game has a unique that can talk to it and interface with it. It all works with the variants and the sort of upgrades in the skill tree. And I just can't wait to see kind of all the crazy things that players cook up. Like, a huge goal was to like blow out the number of builds in the game. Like, if you love build crafting, or if you love making your own sort of zero to hero journey with tons of weird odds and ends in your build, like, this is the expansion for you, and I just can't wait to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, across the video and even in the blog that's going to recap a lot of what we talk about here, there's only so much we can do to kind of describe how all these changes are going to be. You really are just going to have to jump in game and experience it for yourself, because all of us play Diablo so differently. And I think I saw in chat, as that came up, Sky Dragon said, inject that into my veins. So I think that kind of fits it pretty well. So pretty pumped about those changes. But yeah, that's awesome. How about you, Zavin?
Warplanes.
Nee, Glyphen und Paragon Board haben sie jetzt nicht gezeigt. Also so gar nicht hier. Ja, und die erzählen jetzt gerade so von sich aus, was uns am meisten Spaß machen würde. Er sagt natürlich vom Fertigkeitsbaum her, er dann wieder dazwischen gequatscht, Builds bauen und hier und blau und tü.
Hands down, I'm so excited. We've never really had something like this to just so deeply modify all of our endgame activities. It really is, when we say like you get to make your own endgame, we really mean it. We have 100 nodes across all the activities in the game. Some of them actually cross-pollinate, so you can put make choices in one tree that modify another one. So there's just a bunch of variety for players to kind of chew on, sink their teeth into. I can't wait. It's such a different way to think about what you do in your moment-to-moment in the end game. There hasn't been anything like it since. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I think much like the skill tree, it's fun to tinker and craft all these things, and then it's even more fun to send it out into the wild to see what crazy combinations people come up with.
Yeah, and then it's especially in tandem with all the skill tree stuff we're doing, right? You get to change kind of how you do the end game and also what your end game is. You get to control kind of both halves of this now.
Mm-hmm. That's rad. That's rad. How about you, Art?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what kind of builds people cook up that we've never even thought of, right? So, for me, I mean, definitely excited to have people try all the new systems. Skill tree. There's a talisman. There's the cube. We've kind of redone everything, updated everything. But really, what excites me most is just kind of players' experience.
Wenn es geht, wenn du doch schon irgendwie Vorinfos hast, was wir hier noch nicht gesehen haben, einfach mal Schnauze halten.
All of this together, like holistically in concert for the full, like for a brand new Diablo experience, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's something that we actually do point out in the blog that I think is really exciting too, that we touched on a little bit in the video, is like there is so much that's changed the game regardless of whether or not you own the expansion. So if you're just coming back to, play Diablo over the weekend and you just want to get it back into it for a little bit, so much of the game does feel different. And if you're playing on Eternal, if you're not playing in the expansion, so much has changed for anyone who plays Diablo. So like you said, all players get to experience it at the same time. So it's a lot of really cool changes.
Yeah, I actually saw a comment.
Also alle Änderungen von dem Spiel, was jetzt mit dem Add-on rauskommt, auch im Ewigen Reich, gilt auch fürs Ewige Reich. Natürlich das saisonale Thema nicht, und solltet ihr nun das Basisspiel haben, habt ihr trotzdem die ganzen Änderungen mit den Bossen, mit den Dungeons, mit dem Quality of Life und sonst was, aber halt ohne Season-Thema. Das heißt, ihr habt natürlich, wenn ihr das Grundspiel habt, auch keine Runen oder Begleiter oder sonst was. Also das müsst ihr dann natürlich dann abziehen, aber so alle Updates nochmal sind für saisonale und wie auch fürs Ewige Reich.
I was watching the Warlock video, and they're like, oh, whoever like designed and worked on the Warlock and Paladin, like the team that did that should do that to the rest of the classes. And it's like, well, you're in luck, because absolutely the same team has killed it and updated every single class. So you don't even need the Warlock or Paladin to experience sort of this new, I would say, generation of class, which is super cool.
That's unreal. That's awesome. Excellent. Okay, so I know we've got some questions that we've gathered in Twitch chat. We're actually going to kick it over to Q&A now and answer some of your questions that you've been dropping in. So first things first, we've got a question here. We've seen a lot of reactions and feedback on inventory. Can you guys speak a little bit on some of the things we've seen?
Yeah, so I think some of this has been reaction to some of the reviews and stuff that have been coming out. And for what it's worth, anyone who knows Marak, our favorite dancing Fallen, he was kind of available in those things, and so we had a lot of people loading up on stuff. Generally speaking, we've made a lot of changes to the game, which actually I'll let these guys kind of chip in and give some answers to. But starting with, we actually have, if you buy Lord of Hatred, you get a stash tab. So inventory pressure has been something we've been thinking about how to relieve, and that's one way to do it, but there's a bunch of other stuff we want to do it. So if there's something you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say like one of the changes that we made was essentially to reduce and remove incense and elixirs, because we felt like it was one of those like really annoying uptime games that just wasn't super fun in the end game. To compensate, something we saw people use these for is the XP boost. So we've actually like massively increased the amount of XP you get from monster kills while leveling up, which actually translates much more into the difficulty tiers as well, because a lot of the difficulty tier XP comes from monster kills. So we've massively increased the amount of XP for monster kills. You don't have to go and do quests now to necessarily get the max level quickly, which is awesome. Art, I know we've also done a ton of stuff on the layer.
Okay, die haben wohl die Elixiere und Räucherwerke wieder runtergeschraubt oder komplett jetzt weggemacht, weil er meinte, dass die Leute das immer für einen XP-Boost genommen haben. Ja, haben wir auch, aber sonst zu wenig XP gekriegt haben. Dann haben sie jetzt wohl runtergeschraubt, weil XP kommt ja vom Monster töten, ne? Ist so ähnlich wie fährst du los, siehst du schon.
The bosses.
Yeah, definitely. I think across all kind of inventory tabs, lowering inventory pressure was really, really important. So you saw in the video, like everything that's stackable stacks to 1,000 now. We've removed runes, so they all fit in your inventory. We've consolidated a bunch of other things like layer boss keys. Something else that we've done with the Haraja Cube is just give an outflow for a lot of items that you may pick up that are like, once you get into the end game, oh, it's not really worth my time using blue and yellow tributes. I'm like, okay, cool, you can take those, you can combine those up into higher rarity tributes. And we've done this across a bunch of things, so it should be generally much easier to keep everything in your bags and not have it overflow into your stash.
Yeah, and to re-clarify, the infamous screenshot that we've all been looking at with like several thousand stacks, it's Marak and like, PTR boost, you could go do that today and take a screenshot and it looked terrible, but that's what it was.
Thanks for clarifying that, Colin. That's great. I've got a question from Galbatorix_90. My question to the devs, really excited about everything coming with Season of Reckoning and the Lord of Hatred expansion. Could you share how the team is approaching the evolution of endgame systems to create a cohesive gameplay loop that keeps players engaged across both seasonal and the expansion's long-term progression?
I think I can take a stab, and we can probably all take a stab.
Yeah.
But we'll try and keep it short, because we could probably talk about that for like an hour.
Of course.
I think like really Lord of Hatred is the ultimate, I would say, build crafting and power fantasy. It starts with the skill tree. We've updated a ton of the foundations of all the classes. We've even updated a bunch of keywords and mechanics. You'll get to experience that when you play the game, and we're very excited about that. So we've updated the foundation. We've reworked a lot of the itemization and updated it and upgraded it. So like if there's things you like about it today, we've massively improved it. And then the power fantasy side, what what is a better power fantasy than being able to influence the world around you beyond just your character? And that's what War Plans represents. That's what the meta progression trees represents. So, it's really about giving you a lot of control and giving you a lot of things to tinker with. Our hope is that you only see like a fraction of this every season that you play. Where I would be shocked if you're able to play every single class, every single build, every single War Plans permutation. So I'm rambling, but I'll toss it over to these guys.
Yeah, I'll throw out there that one of the things that helps kind of the end game feel really good is making sure there isn't a bunch of bloat. And the game's in its has a couple years on it right now. Just making sure that we go through and are diligent about like, hey, is that serving a purpose in the game still? Does it need to be there? How important is it really? There's things like elixirs and incense. How important are they really? They're just like a tax on your time to go make sure you have upkeep and things like that. But also down to the lair boss keys, right? So do we actually even need that many? Does the game need that many? So anytime we can go through the game and find these places where it's like actually removing something, streamlining something helps make everything better, right? It uplifts everything else because now you don't have to waste your time thinking about these other concepts. So that helps everything be more connective, right? Because they're not having to kind of connect to a dead part of the game that doesn't really matter. Like elixirs, again, is a really good example of what was it really doing for you other than an XP boost? Okay, fine, here. Monsters just give you better XP, now you don't have to do elixirs, right?
Yeah, I like that. It's like eliminating all the chores. And I think, one of the great ways that's baked into War Plans too that you've mentioned before is how, like, if you don't have a key for a particular activity that you're getting into, it just makes one for you. It's not like, oh, you don't have to go into the world to get a lair boss key that you need. The game is just like, no, you got it. You're good. You can just
Ja, allgemein geht es jetzt darum, die werden jetzt gefragt, was ist so die Endgame-Motivation in dem Spiel jetzt mit Lord of Creativity oder mit dem Add-on an sich. Von über den neuen Skilltree bis das und hier und da ist natürlich alles irgendwo mit bei. Haben halt viele Sachen rausgemacht, die so überflüssig sind, dafür andere Sachen reingemacht, die du dann jetzt automatisch kriegen sollst. Aber jetzt Qualstufe 12 erreichen, hängt ja jetzt nicht von den Elixieren ab, Andreas. So wie ich das mitgekriegt habe, ist Qualstufe 12 soll sich wohl um die 100 rumbewegen. Das heißt, Pitchstufe 50 ist das neue Qual 5, grob gesagt. Und Pitchstufe 12 soll sich ungefähr, oder Qualstufe 12 soll sich ungefähr so um die 100 rumdrehen. Also nicht 120 oder 150 oder sowas, sondern so um die 100 rum. Ist die Frage, wie ist es nachher? Ne? Also wenn Qualstufe 12 wirklich ein Pit 100 sein sollte, ja, dann werden das wenige Leute erreichen. Die nur sporadisch mal irgendwie so rumspielen, wenn die Klamotten an sich nicht stark sind und das, ich sag mal so, von der Stärke und Monster und Skalierung so ist wie jetzt, keine Chance. Dann werden auch diese Spieler, war jetzt doof gesagt, die werden irgendwo bei 50 hängen bleiben. Also da müssen die natürlich dann auch vom Bums her, von der Klamotte her, was du alles bauen kannst, schon Dampf haben. Ich vermute mehr so, dass wir die meisten dann doch wieder irgendwo so, ich sag mal, Qual 6 ist das jetzige Qual 4. Aber Qual 6 wäre erreichbar für jeden sporadischen oder leicht affinen Spieler. Nicht so wie Gestörte wie wir. Das jetzt nicht. Also uns darfst du da jetzt gar nicht mit reinnehmen. Gar nicht. Null. Ich würde auch uns, die wirklich viel spielen, auch gar nicht in die Wertung mit reinnehmen. Aber ich vermute, dass oder Qual 5 ist das neue Qual 4, weil das doch wahrscheinlich sehr schnell oder einfach erreichbar sein wird, weil ja auch viele Aufgaben, denke ich mal, von der Seasonreise her sich wahrscheinlich um Qual 6, 7, 8 irgendwie rumdrehen müssen. Plus die 2 zusätzlichen, die wir dann noch gekriegt haben in der nächsten Season, für die ganz Gestörten dann, ne? Also das
And then also, if you find a key you do like and you want to run, you can just run that instead.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
yeah.
Absolutely.
The one thing I'll add, and I'll try to keep it brief, is that one of our goals was that we really want the game to feel like it's broadening and expanding as you progress, and we've done that with the skill tree, with itemization, with war plans, with the cube, and really I think kind of speaking back to Colin's comment about there's so many different things and so many permutations that you realistically won't be able to see them in one season. I think that kind of helps that feeling of the end game being fresh season over season.
Yeah, I'll add one more thing to
Sure.
that too, and you'll see some of the seasonal mechanics that players have really loved and enjoyed baked into war plans. So this is something as a system we hope to sort of improve and expand over time as we do new seasons. We have this really cool system where we can inject fan favorites back into the game. If we think that it's going to make a better and more fun experience. So we think it's going to give us a lot of tools and the players a lot of fun things to fuck around with. So,
Yeah.
And I would add, that is true about all the systems that we've been talking about. The cube, the talisman, all these things are primed for that kind of treatment in the future.
Yeah, that's rad, because I feel like every season, whenever it wraps up, we always say like, hey, will this come back? It's like, well, we might find an interesting way to bring it back, and this is a huge way where a lot of those systems are going to be coming back in a really fun and cool way.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Nice. I've got a question from Mippy, one of our Diablo partners. Zavin, I know you kind of mentioned this. Will the tower go live with the start of the expansion, or will the beta go live at a later time?
It is just a little bit later. So we want to, we've heard, hey, if we're going to be launching the competitive aspect, let's just give a little bit of time, just a little bit, to make sure things are good and it's a fair competition and things like that. So the details are on the blog. You can go check it out. But it's going to be starting kind of not just in this case, but we're seeing this as the standard a few days after kind of the patch, right? Just to give ourselves some time to even things out, make sure there isn't any weird bug or anything like that, and everyone can kind of jump in a fair way together.
Also der Turm wird auf jeden Fall später anfangen. Nicht sehr viel später, sondern zeitnah. Auch in Zukunft für alle anderen Seasons. Um mal sicherzustellen, dass alles Jofel läuft, alles schick läuft, alles tutti läuft. Dann würde der Turm in dem Sinne, ich sag jetzt mal 3 Tage später, wird er freigeschaltet werden. Und er sagte jetzt mit dem Patch und was weiß ich was, ja, also er wird nicht immer zeitnah starten, also zeitgleich mit der Season der Turm, sondern zeitversetzt.
Yeah, it's nice. Eliminate all the bugaboos right off the jump, and then
Yep.
yeah, and then get right into it. Love it. Question from Farina at Diablo. How will war plans function in multiplayer? Will it evolve the war plan for the whole party or just for the party leader?
Yeah, I can take this
Yeah,
one.
go ahead.
So right now the war plans are per player, but what we do is if you and I are playing, or if we're playing as a party, everybody gets essentially like a chunk of the reward, baseline reward. So if Zavin and I are playing and we do a nightmare dungeon, Zavin has a nightmare dungeon node, I will get essentially a reward cache and reputation or meta progression, we should say, for the nightmare dungeon skill tree.
Also die Frage war, wenn jetzt einer so einen Kriegsplan spielt, ob der auch im Multiplayer dann für alle gilt oder nur für den, der es aufgemacht hat. Das gilt hauptsächlich nur für den, der aufgemacht hat. Der bekommt den normalen Loot, den er aus dem Kriegsplan kriegen würde. Die mitlaufen, bekommen Trostpreise in dem Sinne. Je nachdem, was auch immer.
So it ensures that like when you're playing as a party, it's still efficient, even though the boards aren't always synced.
Nice. Sweet. Question from Fame, another Diablo partner. Does the fish collection reset every season, or is it an account one and done kind of thing?
So once you've collected a fish, you've collected a fish. But beyond that, you can fish for as long as you want. You can catch duplicates of stuff. You can it's not a one and done system. Like it's not like a quest, right, or a campaign thing where you just kind of do it once and you're done forever. You can keep catching fish, but the actual act of marking them collected, you have collected them once you've already found them.
Alles klar, ihr könnt so lange fischen, wie ihr wollt. Ihr könnt es ist weder seasonabhängig noch irgendwelche Aufgaben oder sonst was. Ihr könnt so lange angeln, wie ihr wollt, weil die Frage war, ob Angeln nur ein saisonales Ding ist oder sonst was.
Yeah, nice. Loathe Burger, another Diablo partner. Will the loot filter highlights reflect on the minimap?
So that's something that we're looking to sort of, it's not, I'll say that right now, it's not going to.
Also, der Lootfilter wird sich nicht auf die Minimap auswirken, weil es war gerade die Frage, ob auf der Minimap dann angezeigt wird, was du gerne haben möchtest. Noch nicht oder nein.
We are looking to essentially gather a bunch of feedback on the loot filter. It came in hot. It's one of those things that we know players have been asking for, and we felt like, let's give this to the community. It's very much a tool driven by the community, so we want to hear what are the things that you want to improve in the loot filter. So please give us that sort of feedback. We know that's something that I personally want. I think we all want it, so that's just one of those things that we'll file away as like, we're going to improve the system.
Oh yeah, you heard it here first.
It's one of those things, it's like we are adding a map overlay. So there's a whole new way to kind of look at the world around you now just because of that. And we really want your feedback on how this is going to be interacting with both those maps, right? Not just the mini map, but also the map overlay. So let us know how you guys like it.
Yeah, please drop us your feedback. And I mean across the whole expansion. We are going to be absolutely eagle-eyed on the forums, on socials, just checking everywhere from our partners. We're really, really eager for the feedback, and we're also excited to just get this into everyone's hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Enigma 42K. With itemization and the skill trees being overhauled, how is masterworking going to change, and how is it going to affect the way they interact with skills compared to how they work now?
We just updated masterworking in Season 11, so we're not really planning on making any updates soon.
Ja.
Also das Härten und Aufwerten und Masterworking und sowas bleibt erstmal so weit, weil die das ja in Season 11 schon geändert haben und da auch so nichts ändern wollen.
It still has quality. You'll still be able to get that through transfiguration, but we actually like how the system's working right now. So.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Nice. All right, our last question. I am the berm. I see the level cap now goes to 70. Does the Paragon cap rise as well?
No, we're keeping it the same. We think that that's something that we think is like a good sort of thing to chase towards the end of the season. Right now it's like super grindy from 20 to 300, which we like because it's kind of like, okay, you've gotten all the major nodes within your Paragon. Now if you just really want to sort of grind out those core stats, you're more than welcome to. I will say we've also increased the amount of XP multipliers from Torment. So, you know, if previously 300 was like close to within reach and you're like, I think I'm good, I'm not going to play for the rest of the season. The deeper you go into Torments, that'll make that faster. So probably more people are going to end up reaching that max level. So, yeah.
Also, ich musste echt nochmal anrufen, ne? Paragon-System hat sich nicht geändert. Das bleibt so, wie es ist. Er meinte, das findet er toll so. Der war auch noch nie da. Auf jeden Fall, der Fertigkeitsbaum, also da wir jetzt Level 70 haben, kriegen wir natürlich da ein paar Punkte mehr. Wir bekommen aber nicht mehr Paragon-Punkte oder auch, also Max-Level ist immer noch 300. Ein Paragon-Boards in dem Sinne, ja, ein paar kriegen wir mit bei, aber so können wir da weiterhin nur. Der findet das toll, sagt er. Spielt ihr überhaupt?
Nice. I feel like we've all seen the like dreaded calculation on the subreddit where people go
Yeah,
like, you
yeah,
hit
yeah.
297, you're only halfway there, man.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
so I'm glad that there's that now, like that XP boost to kind of push you to that.
Und durch die neuen Schwierigkeitsstufen natürlich bekommen wir einen ganz anderen XP-Boost, um dann auch Richtung Paragon 300 zu kommen oder flotter dahin zu kommen, sagen wir mal so.
Extra. And there will be something fun we'll talk about towards the end of the stream, specific to Paragon that players should get excited about.
Yeah.
But that wraps up our Q&A actually. We're getting close towards the end of the stream. I do want to reiterate, like for Q&A, there is a ton of information in the blog. You will notice the 3.0 patch notes are a bit lighter than usual, but that's because to list out all the skill tree changes would have been near impossible. So we've now just made that illustrative in the blog. So thank you.
Also Patch Notes und sonst was werden nachgereicht, weil einfach so viele Informationen sind. Ein Blogpost soll wohl irgendwie schon da sein, aber die Patch Notes noch nicht. Also müssen wir da auch mal warten.
So yeah, I do just really want to make a note that like, I thank you guys for being here. I know it's an incredibly busy time. I am actually really excited to say as well that we are sim shipping this blog in all languages too. So that doesn't always happen, but everyone can chew on that time, on that information all at the same time. And I know we do have a few call outs closer to the end of the stream that we're going to get into. We had the Jackson collaboration. We have another collaboration. It's a really important one. I'm kind of blanking on it right now, but I know we're going to kick it over to it soon. I really don't know.
I don't remember.
Sorry, I don't really have my notes up
Patch Notes und sonst was oder auch die Änderungen, sowas sollen in allen Sprachen sein, also nicht nur in Englisch. Jetzt ist er gerade schwer verwirrt.
right now, but one sec. Let me just kind of
Trink.
bump this around.
Mach das Fenster auf.
Oh, we've actually got a very special video that we're going to kick
Oh,
it over
nee, ne?
to from one of our friends. Enjoy.
Corn family, today is the day. We have something for you. We've heard from you guys for so long.
So hört's
And
mir
Korn
gut.
has put out their first single in 4 years. Reward the Scars is out today, and that video releases on Monday. We showed it off to the team. Brian wasn't lying. It's pretty badass. You're definitely going to want to check that out when it releases, but we've been so pumped to partner with Korn, so that is absolutely fantastic. And we do have our release map that we can show you now to show the entire global release.
Morgens um 1 Uhr. Alles klar, Leute, wir schieben eine Nachtschicht. Ah. Schnitten machen. Okay.
For Lord of Hatred expansion. Istanbul, I hope you got your Turkish coffee ready because it's going to be an early morning for you. But there's that release map timing. We're going to be releasing this in the blog and on socials following the stream, so you can check out when Lord of Hatred goes live for you. Additionally, today, pre-download goes live at 4 p.m. PDT on Battle.net, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Also 4 Uhr pazifische Zeit. PM. Also ein paar Stunden vorher, ja.
So you can pre-download the 3.0.0 build, so when Lord of Hatred releases, you'll get into the expansion that much faster. And that begins rolling out at 4 p.m. PDT today for pre-download. So go and check that out. I'm also very excited to announce, or not announce, we've already had this promotion live for a little bit, but we've partnered with Trolley Gummies. Again, you can go to your local grocery store and get a bag of Mephisto-branded Trolley Gummies. And you'll actually be able to get some weapon transmogs with your purchase, so you can go check those out. I have to say, ever since we partnered with Trolley for Vessel of Hatred, there has been a rotating trolley bag in my household. I absolutely love these things. It says they're going to have back Moy Riverwatch. The community, you can earn this Helm of Hatred for everyone in Diablo 4. The challenge is this. Globally, we need to earn 266,666,000 Paragon points. Now that's across Eternal, that's across Seasonal, and that's for expansion owners and expansion non-owners. So everyone who plays Diablo 4 can participate in this. Casual dads on the weekend, I see you. You just need to get to the end game and start earning those Paragon points.
Also wenn wir jetzt alle Mann auf der ganzen Welt jetzt alle einmal D4 spielen, ne, wird der Helm für alle hier freigeschaltet. Rückentrophäe, Helm, weiß ich nicht, eine Fußkette oder sowas. Dafür brauchen die ein paar Millionen Paragon-Punkte. Ne?
To jump in. We will be updating our global total on Tuesdays on our social channels, and we'll also have an in-game message that will, check it out Monday and then update you on how the community progress is going. So let's all band together, earn those Paragon points, and earn that Helm of Hatred in-game, which looks super sick. Super, super sick. We are also going to have Twitch drops that are going live for the expansion, so you can go check those out in our blog. You can get the Skull Bloody Axe cosmetic. We've got an emblem as well, and we've got this gigantic Mount Trophy cosmetic that you can earn through both Twitch drops and support a streamer, so you can check out the details in the blog for those in the Diablo 4 category. So go and check those out. Additionally, as Lord of Hatred comes out, we're all really excited to see your reactions, so be sure to tag us on socials, whether you're a streamer or a fan, between the campaign, any sort of big reveal. We've all just been working on this for so long, and we're really, really excited to see how you experience the expansion. So please tag us. We're really curious to see your reactions and how you enjoy everything in the Lord of Hatred expansion. Now, before we close out the stream, I do want to kick it back over to the devs we have here today. Colin, Zav, and Art, is there anything you want to tell the players before they jump into Lord of Hatred?
I'll say thank you to everyone who's been kind of with us on this journey. This is we are very excited to kind of close this arc, this Age of Hatred arc that we've been kind of building towards. So thank you to everyone who's been playing with us this whole time. It's been exciting. I cannot wait until everyone jumps in and sees it all. I can't wait till I can do that.
Go ahead.
I'm thank you, and I'm just ready to blast with everybody, like straight up.
Yeah, me too. I mean, honestly, it was kind of a bad idea to put Art up here. I'm surprised we didn't say anything, messed up. But yeah, no, I can't wait to party with Art. We're gonna blast the shit out of the game, and it's gonna be super fun. Can't wait to do it with all of you. Can't wait to look at all the guides. We've kept a lot of things under wraps, so I'm super curious to see, how our build creators and how everybody who engages with the game cooks up some really cool stuff. So
yeah, I think even through like all the times we've met up for these streams too, it's like the energy is palpable that we're just so pumped to get this thing out the door and into the players' hands. Like, couldn't be more excited for it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the last boss. Oh,
it's
gonna be cool.
There's so much to discover for people. I can't wait. There's going to be so much.
Yeah, it's going to be unreal. But yeah, thank you, all three of you, for being here. I know it's an incredibly busy time, but Thanks for being here for the live stream. I want to give a huge thank you to the production crew, to Rich and everyone behind the scenes. It takes a lot of people to make these streams happen, so thank you to all of you. Thank you to Team 3 for all your incredible work on this expansion. It's really going to shine through. You guys are an incredible team, and it's an honor to work here and be a part of this. And thank you to everyone at home for tuning in and for playing Diablo 4. We wouldn't be here without you, and it means so much to us that you've been here. And Lord of Hatred launches April 27th at 4 p.m. PDT. Pre-download goes live today at 4 p.m. and we will see you all in Skobos.
Also der